Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the Rap Music Plug at your service. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth album and song reviews, as well as artist interviews and general rap commentary sprinkled in between on all of what the mainstream and underground rap scenes have to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. What is up, family? Today I'm talking to you about Amani's A Constant Condensation. Amani is an artist from Brooklyn, New York, and is a very creative mind that is starting to make some big strides in his career. Not only is he the guy who killed the Wishing Bad hook off of Arm & Hammer and The Alchemist Haram, but he has not one but two great projects that are definitely worth your while. One being his collaborative album with King Vision Ultra, An Unknown Infinite, which was simply spectacular, and would have been in my top 10 had I dove into it early enough in 2020. The production on this is insanely good and one of a kind, with thoughtful lyricism that paints a very vividly real worldview that makes me quite unsettled, to be honest. But it shakes me in a way that I think is very necessary. The other project of note is his solo follow-up, A Constant Condensation, which we are talking about today. A Constant Condensation goes inward into Amani's mind and features some gorgeously intimate raps that feel like you're reading his journal through wax. Amani's lyricism here can be summed up as heartfelt and honest, with no better example than Black Man's Therapy, which feels like he's calmly speaking personal thoughts directly into your ear. On Stray Away, Amani's incendiary content and cool, calm, and collected vocal approach work brilliantly together to amplify this soul-crushing bleakness present in our society. On this track, he raps, "Y'all got my ancestors buried under metal and brick. We grew up expecting to get lead in our shit." Simple, yet absolutely effective. On Loose Ends in particular, my God, there are so many lyrical highlights here. He has an impactful set of bars here where he raps, "It's odd. People don't honor the living being. We throw each other in boxes to feel redeemed. Stop and watch the conflict but don't intervene," which I think captures the savagery of the current prison system that we have in today's day and age, and then leads to the awful observation that we have seen far too many examples now of people videotaping brutality, in particular from cops, and film it instead of jumping in to help potentially save a life. This whole track in general is just jam-packed with so many thought-provoking images that really give you a lot to chew on. The production handled by himself is very soulful and adds to the intimacy of the record. It features this consistent analog type feel that makes the record sound very warm. I love the soft piano and how it complements the way the vocals were mixed on Black Man's Therapy and the album as a whole, which is that the vocals feel so close. That mixing technique makes tracks like Loose Ends work so well, as although the beat is very strange, where surface noise is turned up and constantly playing in the background atop some bare piano keys, Amani's lyrics are absolutely front and center and at your full attention. After being introduced to Amani through An Unknown Infinite, it was nice to see Amani's raps over these brighter, more soulful instrumentals. The beauty of this record can be summed up simply by the cravings. An unbelievably soulful beat and beautifully sung hook with lyrics that depict the love between him and his soulmate in such a captivatingly poetic way. It's after Cravings, though, where this album does start to lose a bit of steam as the instrumental tracks start to pile up. These individually all sound pretty great, to be honest, but the album's lack of structure started to grow a bit too thin on this back half, as Amani already was giving a loose and fluid performance to begin with. And overall, my personal preference is always been to have still a semblance of structure with experimental flourishes on top of that. Additionally, with Amani, I really like where he's going lyrically on this album. So I wish this back half of the album was less sparse lyrically, so we could get more of this thoughtful lyricism packed into the 26-minute runtime. All this being said, though, the way this album was put together is certainly one of the key reasons why it's so unique and unlike anything else out there. After a more straightforward first half of the album with mostly rap songs, the back half unravels into an odd but ultimately compelling sequence of ideas that give me a tangible feeling of hope. Now, the following thought will likely seem odd to most, but the way a constant condensation is put together reminds me a lot of Solange's When I Get Home. This is due to the free-form, fluid nature of the record, where the album would continuously morph from track to track, and with When I Get Home, oftentimes within the track itself. These records both subvert norms and general expectations in their respective genres, and both feature an intimate and bedroom-like quality to the records that make them feel very bare and transparent over these skeletal minimalist instrumentals. And finally, both records significantly use skits to further the narrative versus incorporating straightforward songs. Just like it has with Amani and this album, it took a long time for me to accept this approach from Solange, because with that When I Get Home record, like many, I felt like Solange should have been singing more on that album, especially given that it wasn't incredibly long. But eventually I got with it, and it's now my favorite Solange record by a mile. The same dynamic is present on A Constant Condensation, where I over time began to appreciate the odd instrumental breaks and detours. I will say though that A Constant Condensation is even more brief at just 26 minutes, and so the lack of significant rapping presence on the back half of the album is not fully compensated for, and overall still leaves me wanting a bit more. Still, the way this album ends, I think, ties the whole album together in a really interesting way with its ambitious synth-heavy instrumental closer. A Royal End is the title, and it's very fitting. This song is preceded by Loose Ends and Do Better Every Day. Loose Ends, which although definitely dives into the nasty parts of society as I previously highlighted, I think it shows a path forward, which is to forgive those that slighted you, handle any enemies in your way by any means necessary, and pass on your positive and more healthy traits to the next generation. Do Better Every Day features a sung mantra of, as you'd expect, doing better every single day. So those tracks leading into A Royal End make this album end with that feeling of hope, as if the road ahead will give us brighter days. The attention to detail in how this album was constructed really impressed me, and made what could have been a sort of messy album towards the back half still come together and make sense when it's all said and done. A Constant Condensation is a great album for when you want to reflect and just get lost in your thoughts. Amani is part of an emerging movement of thoughtful lyricists coming out of the East Coast right now that are bringing such a unique take on lyricism and left field production, and Amani is at the forefront of that movement. So I give Amani's A Constant Condensation a low 8 on 10. An absolutely brilliant album that is a must listen by any fans of lyrically minded hip hop. And there's great merch out too on his Bandcamp, which you'll find the link to in the description, so definitely check that out. There's some super fly designs. So this concludes today's episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV. I hope this episode gave you some fresh new perspectives on the latest rap releases, as well as a recommendation for the next great rap record to add to your collection. If you're an artist looking to level up your career, getting more gigs, album sales, merch sales, whatever it may be, I would love to help you with that by providing you artist development and writing services. So if you're interested, contact me via email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com or hit me up via Twitter or Instagram at Rohview, ROHVIEW. I would be honored to lend my expertise and help you grow your career as an artist. And also for regular rap fans that just want to hear more quality commentary on the genre, follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. For exclusive content and updates related to the show, follow the Rap Music Plug podcast on Facebook to help the show grow and ensure that everyone's listening to the best rap music at all times. Follow the show on the podcast platform of your choice. Make sure you leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts so that the show can be spotlighted by that wonderful algorithm and be exposed to more people. You can find all of this information along with exclusive playlists created by myself by clicking the link that's in the episode's notes. So that's all for today. Talk to you soon. Peace.